Culture shock is the personal disorientation a person may feel when experiencing an unfamiliar way of life due to immigration or a visit to a new country, a move between social environments, or simply travel to another type of life. One of the most common causes of culture shock involves individuals in a foreign environment. All of us came from different cultures. Me from Saudi Arabia, Mouad from Libya, and Stephen from China. Sometimes we feel like we are missing our home and want to go back. After a while, we adapted and stopped feeling surprised and shocked by the host culture. Have you ever lived in this situation? If yes, ask yourself what experiences you had from living in this culture. Here was an experience that Stephen encountered one day.
One day, our Chinese friend Steven was invited by an American friend to have a cup of coffee in Starbucks. Since it was the first week for him in the States, he hadn't bought a car yet, so he decided to take the bus. He got onto the bus and sat at the rear. In the bus, there was a guy sitting in front of him. He looked like an American, but he wasn't quite sure about it. Suddenly, this guy smiled at Steven. Steven was completely surprised, and he didn't know how to respond. During that time, many images came to his mind. He thought that the guy was crazy, or he might have met him before. But immediately, he knew that it was impossible. After that, the worst image came to his mind. He thought that the guy might be a thief and will rob him. So, he was making sure to hide his wallet and cell phone. During that time, the guy pulled the line of the bus down, said have a goodbye to Steven, and get out of the bus. The poor Steven was extremely shocked, and he felt so sorry to think badly like that. After that, Steven was running of time, and he must hurry, but the bus just seems to be against his will. Steven kept looking at his watch and wondered why the bus is so slow. He stood up and looked around, wanting to find some reasons. Then it turned out that the bus stopped firmly at each bus stop and yielded to anyone crossing the streets, regardless of being a crosswalk. In fact, that was the first time that Steven saw a bus yielded to people. He felt interesting because things were totally different in China. Usually people yelled to pass. After a long trip, Steven got out of the bus and got to the Starbucks. While he was entering the Starbucks, someone was just behind him. Steven opened the door and he didn't hold the door for the person who was behind him. The guy was hit by the door and he felt painful. Then Steven realized that his behavior was impolite because he always sees American people holding doors. He apologized to the guy and told him that he didn't do that on purpose. Then he sat down waiting for his friend. At that time, his friend arrived and greeted Steven. While they were chatting, Steven noticed that there was a person sitting in front of him and putting his legs on the coffee table. He was completely surprised and thought that was rude. Then Steven stood up and he was looking for the manager to complain. But his friend told him to calm down and explained it to him that was fine since he's not sitting with them on the same table. In American culture, that's not rude, and it is just difference in people's culture. At that time, Steven realized the situation. Then they continued their chatting and enjoyed the afternoon in the cafe.
In conclusion, all of us maybe encounter similar situations, and it is surely quite stressful at first place. But as time goes by, we all get used to it and start to embrace different cultures and enjoy a wonderful life in foreign countries. In fact, it is where new dream starts.